Right, lights on. I am down in the workshop. Just come down this second. And right, the tumbler's on. It's very loud, so we're going to turn it off. Takes a little while for it to stop doing its thing, so we'll just wait patiently. Now, what's this door? In yesterday's video, I showed you, us taking about 500 titanium pry bars, putting them in here with this type of media, this ceramic media. We tumbled that overnight in here. My father came in this morning, switched out that media for another type of media, which is this one. So once we have that, I can't remember how long that goes in for, but once we do that, we have at least another type of media and maybe another type of media. So the tumbling that I do is quite involved, which I think is kind of why I'm quite well known for, the quality finish on the products I do, because if you buy anything in titanium, if you're familiar with other people that make titanium stuff, a lot of people sell raw stuff. A lot of people just tumble it just to get the edges off and that's it, but not like that's not me. Like I really go to town on getting the ultimate finish. I have done so much testing and stuff like that, and I've talked about this in other videos before. So that's why this goes, and it's also part of the reason why I can't show you the full process, because it's quite proprietary. The finish I get is it's always in development, and I'm always trying to get it better and better, and it's a sort of a, what's the word, like a unique thing to me. It's an advantage that I have, the time and energy and money that I've invested in getting these, in getting the processes in place. So that's why I show you bits and pieces of the tumbling process, but not everything. But what I will do at this stage is show you one of the pry bars, just to show you. If you watched yesterday's video, if you didn't, go and watch it, because I showed you a raw pry bar, a raw one of these. Now, just blow the foam off it. Here it is now. Let's see if I can get the light better. Here it is now, but nice and rounded and that kind of thing. Struggling to get this focused. Let's try this one. So that should give you an idea of that. Now I will talk briefly about this spinner. Oh, that's a small one, not that one. This larger spinner in just a second, but first take a look at this. Those are 2 boxes of titanium pens sitting soaking in water. We're not really soaking them. They've just been finished and tumbled and things like that. And we don't let them get dry. We have to air dry them specifically. We don't let them get naturally dry, because they get sort of water stains on them. That you can just wipe off with your finger, but even still, like, I want it to be good for the customers. So we leave them soaking in water so that it stays wet and you don't get these stains on from natural drying. So we blast it with air to dry it properly. So they're just soaking there just now. Thought I would show you that. Just one of the small, funny little things we do here. Spinner. Now, I showed you this spinner yesterday, I believe. You know what? This camera's really not focusing well today. to turn around. If I face this way it focuses better. There we go. So I've been playing with this like a madman, and I've learned a huge amount about where your fingers needs to be for spinning, you know, spinning forward, spinning backwards, spinning with your index finger, spinning with your middle finger, spinning with your ring finger. Like, there's so many little things and subtleties, and it's good that, like, I got this cut, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, I think. Yeah, day before yesterday, 2 days ago, and now, like, I'm like, right, okay, we need to go to the next stage, and the next stage is to have no bolts on it, because they're now getting in the way, because I'm starting to get a handle on the weight and the length and the width that, you know, these need to be. And also I need to have it more contoured, but I'm still not ready to go to CNC machining yet, or at least manual machining. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut slices. So these are like these two plates here. They are 4mm and 2.5mm thick. What I am going to do now, I shall show you, is I'm going to cut 1.1 or 1mm thick slices, and I'll show you on the board. So I'm going to do, you know, a 1mm slice like that, and then like that, and like that, like that, and like that. You get the idea. The bearing will go in the middle, and, you know, it'll be like that. So, you know, we'll have this kind of contoured looking thing, and I'm not sure if I'm explaining that very well, but I think so. Like, instead of just big chunks, it'll be lots of little layers, and therefore a more smooth, undulating, three-dimensional shape. And yeah, so hopefully I'm gonna design. I'm in town just now. I've got to go home, design that, so I get the final sort of shape of it, because I've basically got to come up with a design in my head and then make it into slices and draw each slice out, and then hopefully I'll get my father to go over to the workshop, to the new workshop with the water jet cutter, where that is. He'll cut that today, and hopefully I can just have another prototype by tonight. So things are moving along slowly in the wacky world of... Right, back at the house now. Dear Lord, I look like Mr. Twit from Roald Dahl's book The Twits, with a big beardy. I need to have a shave today. Anyway, I showed you this drawing the other day. That's a sort of older design, slightly older design of the spinner. Now, 2 nights ago, I had bad kind of like indigestion, sore back or whatever, so I was up at like 3 in the morning or whatever hour of the day it was, and I designed this. I sort of tweaked it a bit more, and I think it's a big improvement. Take a look at that. Much more aggressive. So this is the old prototype I showed you earlier today. So this is kind of the rough shape here, and then there was sort of there's a kind of plate on the other side. Now here's the thing, I am finding that your finger to give it a fast spin, you don't just push your finger along the edge of it. There's a sort of like, there's a pushing on the flat surface, so you're not just like that. You're not just pushing like that. You're actually pushing kind of like that as well. Kind of hard to explain unless you fiddle around with it. So I've discovered that I need to put an angle on it so that there's something for my finger to push against sideways. So this is what I've sort of been drawing the last little while. If you take a look at this. So this is the design that I showed you on the bit of paper down there, and this is me now making the layers. So I'm going to cut some metal today. I'm going to cut 8 pieces, and they're each going to be 1.1 or 1 millimeter thick. So this is going to be a piece. Let's zoom this in a bit. This is going to be the next piece. So you can see, hopefully you can actually see that. You can see this is sort of a 3D contoured way about that. Now, whoa, close. Now the reason for sort of doing that is, like, I don't have a CNC machine, I don't have access to a CNC machine. I work with my machinist, and you know, but I don't go to him unless, you know, I'm nearer what I actually want, like the sort of final design. So I'm still testing and tweaking, you know, learning all the time about the sort of the spinner and all the sort of little subtleties of sort of spinning a little spinner in your hands. And so, you know, actually, most spinners out there, they just make a spinner, or you know, maybe they put a bit of design into it as well. But I've discovered that after playing with this and finding out what the best thing is, almost no one, if anyone, is making a spinner that's for spinning, like not just to look good and not just to play with, but to actually get fast spins and that, you know, and to real, you know, like a real, I don't know what the word is, but really putting an emphasis on the actual, you know, where your finger gets positioned and you know, for getting the best spin, or the catching it, you've got to catch it again. That's a big thing as well. So there's all these little things. So what was I talking about again? Yeah, so I do plates because I've got a water jet cutter and I've got loads of titanium sheet. I just cut it in slices and either bolt it together or even super glue it together. I mean, it's really crude, but it works. That's all that matters. Like, I don't care if it's crude or whatever or ugly, makes no difference to me. I just want to get it done fast. I don't want to waste time. So going to CNC at this stage, too early, just way too early. So I'm going to finish this drawing now and then send my dad over to the new workshop, and hopefully he'll cut that today, and I'll have something else for you tomorrow, most likely. So, pretty much all afternoon, I have been doing I've been doing two things. One, drinking way too much coffee. That's a habit I'm trying to break, not really working. But also, I have been watching videos and reading about spinners, and as you know, that's what I've been obsessed with the last few days, and I'm still obsessed. It's a little bit dark in here. We've got a few things to talk about. So in fact, I'll show you just quickly. You know, earlier I showed you well, I say earlier, not really earlier, because it's like 20 seconds ago in this video, but it's 2 hours ago for me. I showed you the making of the new prototype for the spinner. So this is what I was doing. So I showed you this here. Sorry, I'm taking a little while to. I showed you this here. So that was the rough shape. Now if we zoom out and we zoom back in here, this is what it's going to look like. So this is like one of those ordnance survey maps. So each line is a different layer. These are going to be 1.1 millimeter thick. So there's going to be 4 plates on this side, 4 plates on the other side. So it's going to end up as somewhere between 8 and 8.8, somewhere between 8 and 9 millimeters thick. And so if we break these plates down, this is what I'm cutting this afternoon. I'll get my father to cut over in the new workshop. So these are the top plates, these are the bottom plates, or vice versa. So that's what I was finishing off earlier. What I will talk with you about now is, again, spinners, of course, but outside, because the light is so much so much better here. Right, here we go. So this is the ordinary sort of sized spinner I've been mucking around with. You can see that, and this is a mini version. I'll hold them together. Hopefully you won't be able to see that really. Right, I'll just hold it like that. So that's the full size version. That's the mini version. Bit different. Now what's interesting is I really like this. This is such a different, it's like a completely different product. The length of the bigger one is about 60 millimeters, which is just over what, 2 inches? Just over 2 inches, 2.25 inches. And the length of this one is 50 millimeters. So it's only 15% smaller, 15%, 1.5. But it's so much smaller. Like it's it's like a completely different thing. You hold it with your middle finger and it's just a great little thing to spin, but because there's so little metal there, it's like a, you know, it's not got as much momentum or anything like that. And this is what I'm thinking about. Like, I'm a titanium guy through and through. Start that again. I'm a titanium guy through and through. I don't do any other metals at all. I've never done any other metals. I won't say I'm not planning to do any other metals, because I do have an upcoming project where it involves aluminium, which you will understand why in a few weeks to maybe a month or two's time. We'll see how it goes. But this here is a tungsten cube. Fantastically heavy, really, really heavy. And what I'm thinking is this mini one. So I could offer two spinners, large one and a small one. And the small one, I mean, large one could be tungsten, but the small one out of tungsten, a really solid, dense little spinner, because it's so compact. I'm thinking, yeah, like that's kind of where my thoughts are going with that. So this afternoon, and yeah, I think that's all I've got for you just now. Okay, so my father has just come back from Tauranga from cutting these pieces. Get some light for you. So this is the bits of titanium from the drawing I showed you earlier. What I still need to do is grind them, and I probably won't tumble them, just sort of glue them together, probably super glue, very crude, but that's the way I do it. And I won't be doing that today, well tonight now, it's like nearly 8 o'clock. And so I will call today at that. I will leave you with a quote. The quote is by Randy Posh, and he said, "We cannot change the cards we are dealt, just how we play the hand."